Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're having a really good week and things are going well. I wanted to talk to you about what we're going to accomplish this week. We are getting deep into the thick of Hamlet right now, and I'm so excited because I think you're going to love it. So this week, what we're going to do is jump in and talk about Acts 2 and 3. So hopefully you got a good sense of who the characters are, a little bit about the basic plot, because that's what you get in Act 1. In Act 1, you figure out who these people are, where we are, and what the basic plot line is, which is pretty simple, right? It's revenge. It's something evil has happened, and now Hamlet has to decide what he's going to do about it. And so in Acts 2 and 3, what you get to see is all of these threads start to blossom open. And so you get to know these characters, and you get to see the ones you love and the ones you hate. And I hope there are ones you love, and I hope there are ones you hate. So I think you'll love Acts 2 and 3. I paired these together because the plot really starts to pick up. So Act 1 is really sort of that exposition level of plot. Acts 2 and 3, we're going right up the rising action. And so these really go together well, and you're going to see all of these. I compare it to a spider web. So the spider web is starting to grow, and you're starting to see where all the connections are between all of these characters and the things that they're doing. So make sure you're paying attention to specific storylines. Polonius is his own storyline. Hamlet with Polonius is a storyline. Hamlet with this fake dad is a storyline. Hamlet with Ophelia is a storyline. So make sure you're paying attention to these different threads, different characters, and sort of what the conflict is between them. So we get all of that in Act 1. And we really get that big overall conflict, right? Man versus man, Hamlet versus Claudius, his, stepdad. So that's going on. We also get this whole thing with Ophelia. We find out Polonius is this really kind of, dirty yes man. So all that's happening in Act 1. But now all the spider web is starting to become clearer in Act 2. And by Act 3, you have a very clear understanding of exactly what is happening to these characters. Hopefully you're also struggling along with Hamlet, because imagine that you're in Hamlet's position. Your dad has died. A couple months later, your mom gets remarried to your uncle. Which, by the way, remember that she would not have been allowed to rule by herself. So the fact that she takes on a husband is honestly not all that weird. What's weird is that it is her husband's brother. That's the weird part, okay? The fact that she gets married so quickly, it makes Hamlet mad, but it's really not that weird. So we get that whole thing starting to happen. But his dad has died. His mom is remarried to his uncle. And then he gets this horrible news from his dead father that his uncle might have been the one who killed his dad. Okay, and his dad's like, seek revenge on on what has happened to me. Imagine you're Hamlet. You were away at college, you come back to this whole hot mess, and he's got to decide what to do. And he is struggling because essentially his own father has asked him to commit murder. That's a hard thing. That's a really hard thing. So he spends the next couple of acts sort of wrestling with the moral implications of the situation he finds himself in. And a lot of people give Hamlet a lot of crap because he is really slow to act, and he has multiple opportunities and he does not take them. But think about it. This is a family member. This is also the king. So not only is he committing murder, he's murdering the king. That's kind of a big deal. And so, there's a lot going into play here. And in the back of his mind, there is this concern that this is the devil tempting him. And it was not his father, it was the devil showing up as that ghost, sort of trying to drag him into hell and condemn his soul to hell. So there's that. So we'll have some conversation about all of this in the discussion board. We'll kind of struggle through some of these things that you're going to experience in Acts 2 and 3. You have 2 quizzes. I've also posted some notes. So I've given you notes for Act 2 and then the quiz, notes for Act 3, and then the quiz there. I've also included the audiobook for Act 2 and for Act 3. I also, now that you have the pleasure of meeting Ophelia, I struggle with Ophelia. I hope you struggle through her situation too. But the Lumineers made a song called Ophelia. So I hope that you enjoy it. You actually, if you pay attention to popular culture, will find Hamlet everywhere. Okay, because so many people read Hamlet, and there's so much about life and the soul and what is our purpose, and that choice between thinking and doing, and what is our responsibility to our parents and to our country and to ourselves. So much is in this that Hamlet's everywhere if you just kind of pay attention. So I give you the Lumineers. Feel free to listen to the Ophelia song. If you've heard this song before, maybe it makes a little more sense now that you actually, have met Ophelia. I've also given you some video clips, of course, of the Mel Gibson version. And so some of the really famous scenes, of course, probably the most famous scene is To Be or Not to Be. I really want you to focus on that section. First of all, I want you to decide what this is. Is it a monologue, a soliloquy? What is Hamlet doing? So I want you to pay attention to that. But also, what is he really struggling through here? So pay attention to what Hamlet is discussing in this scene, because a lot of people reference this and I don't think they have any clue what this section is actually about. So pay attention to it because Hamlet is struggling with something really deep and heavy here. Okay. And then a couple of other clips that I've included for you. So, and I try to tell you where they're from. So if you want to follow along in your text, I think that will be helpful to you. I've also included a couple of helps for you, just some online stuff. There's a chart on characters and plots to kind of help you follow all the threads. Also down here, right down here is a character chart. I will warn you though, it does give away the ending. So if you don't want to look at that yet, just know it's there. And you're welcome to come back and look at it. But if you're struggling to understand who all these characters are and how they're related to each other, maybe that will help you. So that's what I have for you. So jump into the discussion board. I'll see you there. Don't forget to take both of your quizzes, and we'll enjoy some Hamlet. All right. Have a great week, guys. See you later.